The environment refers to all factors which have a bearing on the functioning of the business. It refers to those aspects of the surroundings of the business enterprise and the circumstances of the business unit which affect or influences its activities and operations and decides its effectiveness. So I've said it in various words. Anything that is within the business or outside of the business that has something to do, has a relation or an effect on the business, that particular factor is part of the business environment. Um, why do we study the business environment? You see, just like everything in this world, the environment and its factors play a crucial role. If you look at human beings, there are things that are innate or hereditary in us. They might be dormant. It takes the right environment, whether negative or positive, to bring it out. So if you are born an eagle and you find yourself amongst chicken, even though you are an eagle, the environment you have found yourself in will influence you so much so that you will think you are a chicken until you are exposed to a different environment where the factors there support the fact that you are not a chicken but you are an eagle. Then you come to yourself and you realize I can fly, I can do this. Oh, I am this after all. Why? Because you have entered into an environment that supports the characteristics that are inside of you. The negative is also true. You could be everything innately, but if the environment is not conducive, you will not be able to really fly. So if business environment is negative, businesses do not thrive. If the environment is positive, then businesses thrive. Then also because it's about factors that affect the business, we are on slide number 5. Because we are talking about factors that affect the business, it is important that you know what these factors are and how they are categorized and the role they play in the survival of the business so that as a business, you will know where to go for what. You will know which policies affect your business, whether it's economically, legally, so that you will do your things right and survive, then grow, and then be able to serve your purpose and maximize your productivity. And at the end of the day, make profit, and then the business will keep thriving. So it is important that you know all this. If you do not know, it will come against you negative. Unfortunately, ignorance of any situation is not an excuse. The fact that you are ignorant of your environment will not spare you the negative outcomes simply because you do not know. So you must know. And for those of you who have businesses already, this is very important for you to realize that where you find yourself, these factors are what you will be facing or you are facing already, and their influences, but you have not taken notice of. So we zoom in. So this diagram speaks to everything that we'll be talking about subsequently. So every business exists in an environment. If you look at the diagram, we have the company. Give it any name that you like. Within that company, The company has a mission. It also has a vision. It has strategy. It has resources. It has processes. And it has products or end services. If you look at these factors, you realize that they are within the company or the business entity or the business organization. Every business has a mission. Why you are in existence. Every business has a vision, what you intend to do, where you intend to go, and all that. You have strategy, the means through which the mission and the vision can be achieved. Resources, both human and non human resources, financial resources, every other resource that is needed in the organization to achieve the mission and the vision. And then we have processes. So last week I told you that every business takes resources from the environment. Um, the people who work in your organization are resources from the environment because you took them from the society, whether it's the town, the region, the country, wherever they are part of the environment. So you pick them from there. Your raw materials are from there. Everything you need to produce whatever it is you are producing, you take them from the environment, but you bring them into the organization. So you have the opportunity to decide the quantity of resources, the type of resources that you need. You have the opportunity to decide on all this and bring them in. Processes, how you turn the inputs to outputs are the processes we are talking about. That one you can decide. If it's machines you are using, you have the choice of the kind or the type of machines you want to use. The method that you use in production or rendering services, you have the opportunity to choose whether you are going high tech or you want to maintain manual labor or you want to maintain a hybrid, whichever method is part of the processes. It is within your reach, your power as a business. And then what kind of products you want to sell out, that's your choice. It is part of your objective, the reason why you established yourself in the first place. The quality of your products, it is within your reach. If you want to give your customers a particular kind of um, quality that you will be known for, it is still within your reach. If you want to give them a kind of service that will make you stand out, all these are within the organization. So if you look at it carefully, you realize that the internal environmental factors, which are the mission, vision, strategy, resources, processes, um, products and services, they are all within the internal environment. It is within the organization. And so that organization, that company, that business entity has power over them. You choose your mission, you choose your vision, you choose your strategy, you choose your resources, you choose your processes, you choose your product or your services. They are within the organization, and so the organization has control over them. So, note it very well. Every business has both internal and external environment. The internal environmental factors include mission, vision, strategy, resources, processes, products, and services. All these factors are within the organization, and so the organization has control over them. The organization decides on how these things are going to be and how they are going to be used. For example, you choose the number of people you want to be working in your organization. If you need 10, it is 10 you will choose. If you need 100, it's 100 you will choose. So the company here has internal environmental factors that it has control over. Don't forget that. Then we go to the second type of environment, that is the external environment. So we have two types of environment: internal environment and external environment. But when it comes to the external environment, they are broken into two: the micro and the macro. The micro and the macro. So if you look at the diagram, the micro comes just after the internal environment, and the micro external environmental factors include the public, marketing intermediaries, suppliers, customers, competitors, employees, and so on and so forth. If you look at the diagram carefully, you will realize that all these factors are very close to the internal environment of the business. It so suggests that these environmental factors, that is the micro external environmental factors, affect the organization on daily basis. Yet the business organization or the business entity or the company has no control over them. Their actions and their activities affect the business directly on daily basis. Yet the business does not have control over these factors. So how these factors operate: as a business, you cannot dictate to them. And we'll look into details what some of them are and the way they operate. So as a business, you cannot control the activities of the public, intermediaries, as far as marketing is concerned, suppliers, customers, competitors, employees. You cannot control them directly. Yet everything they do affect your company on daily basis. And then you come to the second part of the external environment. We call it the macro external environment. And that one is made up of the political system, economic system, social-cultural systems, technological system, environmental system, and the legal system. With these factors, they also affect the business, some directly, some indirectly. It might not be on daily basis, but yet their actions also affect your business. And guess what? You also don't have control over them. So let's go into detail and look at them. So I mentioned suppliers. And remember, I'm going back to the micro, the micro external environment. This one, um, the internal is the royal blue, the micro is the sea blue. So um, we mentioned suppliers, public, and all that. So let's look at them. Who are suppliers? They are the people who give you inputs. So if you need water, the person who brings the water to you is your supplier. If you need plastic bottles, the one who brings them to you is your supplier. If you are a bakery, the one who brings you the flour, the sugar, the margarine, the nutmeg, everything you need, that person is your supplier. So suppliers are the people who bring you the inputs you need. They are very, very important. Why? Because if they don't bring these things to you, inputs, your raw materials, you cannot produce whatever it is you are producing. You are a cleaning company. Somebody supplies you with detergents. Either the person brings them to you or you go to the person's shop to buy them. It's still the same. The person is your supplier. The person is your supplier. So when the person is supposed to deliver your inputs and the person fails, you are in trouble. Imagine you are an event planner. You are planning somebody's wedding. And the person who's supposed to bring you the cake failed to supply the cake. The person who is supposed to provide your furniture fails to bring the furniture. The person who is supposed to supply you with flowers did not turn up. Canopies, they didn't turn up. If you are out of work. You are out of work. And suppliers have a mind of their own. You can't force them to do whatever they do. So if you are not able to keep the supplier client relationship afloat and they mess you up in any way, they have successfully pushed you out of business. Irrespective of this importance of suppliers in your business, you cannot control them. Sometimes suppliers get better deals from other than the other clients, and then they can stand you up and you'll be in trouble. What are we saying? A supplier or suppliers are part of your micro external environment, and their actions affect your business directly, even though you have no control over them. And now we come to the almighty customers. I told you it is for a reason that we say the customer is king. Why? Because that person holds the success of your business in his or her palm. A satisfied customer or client can bring you more clients or more customers, and your profit margins will improve. A dissatisfied customer or client can break your business. Break your business within a split second. You will see your profits dwindling. And if you don't take care, you can fold up. They hold the key. Why? Because they patronize. They exchange your goods or your services with their money. And every customer is looking to maximize his or her satisfaction. And so they are very crucial. Their tastes change from time to time. As the times change, they also change. I believe the kind of things that you patronized or you really liked when you were young have changed. You see children, and all they need to hear is the honk of the yogurt seller. Poppy, poppy. And they're like, Mommy, I want yogurt. Mommy, I want yogurt. Today, when you are walking by, if it's not because of the scorching sun and the fact that you have been caught up within lectures and you don't even have time to go and eat a proper food, you won't even look the way of the yogurt seller. Your tastes have changed. Maybe they've shifted onto something else. So the taste, the preferences of customers are very dynamic. The today's customer is so complex. They want speed as far as service delivery is concerned. And that speed should also be accompanied by some kind of quality. They don't want any shabby services. And businesses just like you are also many in the system now. So they have choices. Your customer has choices. And so that makes them very crucial, very, very crucial in today's business environment. They are very crucial, yet you don't have control over them. They have a mind of their own. They do what they do. And if they choose not to patronize you, it affects you directly. So that is the customer for you. Then we come to competitors. In every business environment, there's competition. Competition from your industry. That is, let's say you are a telecommunication company. You belong to an industry called the telco industry. If you are a pharmaceutical company, you belong to the pharmaceutical industry. If you are an educational institution, you belong to the education system industry. So every organization belongs to a particular industry. Your competition is within your industry and outside of your industry. Gone are the days when we thought that your competitors are other companies that are in similar or same business just like you. Today, it is them and other companies. Why? Because you are not just competing for customers, you are competing for the financial capacity of customers. So if the preferences of customers change such that they are no longer interested in spending their money on clothes, but they want to spend their money on data, it means that they will not be patronizing you if you are a clothing company. At the same time, that money that is supposed to come to you is going into the pocket of um, a data-based organization. And so competition affects you directly, yet you can't dictate what your competitors should do to them. You can't control them. You can't control them. If the competition is worse, the business environment becomes very chaotic. If it's unhealthy competition, it is very, very chaotic for the survival of your business. So, competition is a factor that affects your business directly, yet you cannot control them. The strategies that businesses employ. There is this popular um, competition scenario that came up some time ago. So it was between Club and Star, Club Beer and Star Beer. And I don't know who outdid the other, but word has it that one of them had people going round to pubs and drinking spots. So when they go, they don't ask for this. They ask for their um competitors' own. Do you have let's say it is club outdoing Star. So club will go to a pub or a drinking spot and ask, do you have Star beer? And then they will say, yes. How many cartons do you have? They say, "Oh, we have this number. Okay, we've bought everything." And they will pay. They'll say, put them down for us. We'll come for them. And then they will leave. They've paid. The person is also in business. So if you have bought all my products, no problem. So then customers will come and they'll ask for Star. Then they'll say, oh, it's finished though. Oh, what do you have? Oh, we have club. Okay, it's okay. You give me one. And gradually, they were able to change the preferences of customers from Star to club. It could be the other way around. I'm not too sure who outdid who. And before the other one could say Jack, their profits were dwindling because demand kept going down. Why? Somebody has used guerrilla marketing style to change the taste preference of um, customers. This Is competition, depending on where you stand, at its worst or best. But what I'm trying to say with this example is that if the competition is like this, then your business, your business is in trouble. And so it is up to you to analyze your competitors and come out with counter strategies to deal with competition. Else, you will be in trouble. And you don't have control over competitors. They do what they do, and it affects you directly. Then we have employees. You see, employees are in the environment, whether you pick them from your country or you brought them from another country as expatriates, they are all part of the environment. You can't force them to choose which organization to work for. Remember, it is the same pool of human resources that every company is drawing from. You need the best of accountant. Every business needs one. You need the best of human relations officer. Every company is looking for that person. You need the best of an IT manager. Every company is looking for that person. And so the factors that come to play as far as employees is concerned, most of the time you cannot control. And then when you have people working in your company and they belong to labor unions, whatever the bigger picture decides affects what your employees who belong to these labor unions will do. If the labor union is able to um, go and have a discussion with like the way the Ghana Labor Union does what is its name? It has a name I've forgotten. They will go and sit with government and then have a deliberation and minimum wage is agreed upon. What happens is that when that is agreed, you, a private entity, it affects the way you have to pay your workers and all that. So these are factors that come to play as far as labor is concerned. But you cannot sit in your business entity, your organization, and decide what should happen in the labor market. No. But whatever happens in the labor market affects you. The quality of your goods and services depend on the particular kind of labor that you have. And then we have the regulatory or regulating agencies. If you have anything to do with transport, remember DVLA will regulate you. You need a permit, district assembly, or standard boards, or any other regulatory agency that you fall under will regulate you. You will need permit, you need license, and all these things to work. If you are importing something, you will need permit. Um, you need sometimes in multiples. So when you enter somebody's business area, most of the time you see that they display these permits there. One from business operation permit, you see that they will frame it and then they will hang it there. So that as soon as you enter, you see it and you will not bother them. You will need a certificate from the fire service. It has to be there, not just the certificate, not just the fire certificate. You need fire extinguishers. Yeah, they have requirements for businesses, so you have to have them. That there are so many agencies that regulate the business environment. Depending on which business you are into, you will need a license, you will need a permit, sometimes in multiples from different entities. They make sure that these rules and these laws are followed, respected to the latter. It means that if you do not do these things, you will be in trouble. It will shock you that something as simple as you not paying your the SNET contributions of your employees can land you into trouble. You can go to prison for that. You can go to prison for that. So these regulating agencies are autonomous. They do their own thing, and you have to abide by their rules, their laws, and their regulations. If you fail, you'll be in trouble. So you see, their actions affect you directly. But you cannot decide on what they should do. It is not up to you. It is up to them. And you just have to comply. You just have to comply. If Ghana Revenue Authority says you should charge 20% VAT on your services, you don't have a choice. You have to comply. If you are caught not complying, you will be in trouble. Investors and stakeholders. The other time I talked about these people. Investors, you can call them shareholders and stakeholders. They all have a stake in your business. And they choose to invest where they want to invest, like investors. They monitor what you do all the time. Their eyes are keen, especially investors. They cannot throw their monies away. So they are keen in what you do. And they choose to invest their monies or not. Stakeholders, your activities affect them. And so they also have an interest in what you do. You see, you cannot dictate to stakeholders that I'm doing my business, stay out of my hair. It's none of your business. It is. It is. It is. And you see, you need these people if your business must function. You need them, especially investors. You need them. You need them. And you can't dictate whether they should invest in your business or not. Um, the public. Let me talk about the public and then marketing intermediaries. You see, um, if we talk about the public, we are talking about everybody, including you and I. The term public refers to the citizens of the whole country. So you and I. There's something that helps businesses to thrive. We call it the goodwill of the people. It is the love and acceptance of people as far as your business is concerned. So sometimes you realize that there's a business in a particular community, and the people there are always fighting that organization. They break in, they destroy their facilities, they are always on rampage, they are organizing demonstrations, they are objecting to the activities of that business. It means the public has not accepted you. They haven't accepted you as a corporate citizen. You know, businesses are also like people. They are citizens, just that we call them corporate citizens. So if the public does not accept you, they oppose you. If they accept you, that is where you enjoy the goodwill of the people. They will protect you, they will support you, they will make sure that as a business you thrive. And it depends on the kind of relationship that exists between the business and the community. And these are discussions that are manifested in the corporate social responsibilities of businesses. So it is the acceptance of the people. Sometimes the chiefs will accept you, give you a land to start, and you lay one block. The youth in the town or community will come and break it down. Why? They don't accept you. You don't have that goodwill. But sometimes when it is the goodwill is there, they support you. The thing here is the public's attitude towards you also affects you directly and directly is directly. So if they fail to accept you, you are in trouble. But if they accept you, you have their goodwill and you can operate in peace because you have the support of the people. And you cannot force them to accept you. So those dynamics are very dicey to talk about, yet it is the truth. And then you have the market intermediaries, the ones we call distributors. Distributors, those who are in the middle to get your products to your customers or your clients. If you are producing um, something in, say, Tema, your products will go as far as Burger and even beyond. Most of the time, it is not you, the business, who does that, but it is other people's business to get your products to the end user. And this affects you directly. It affects you directly to the extent that your profit, the popularity of your product, and everything depends on how these intermediaries operate. Their transportation system affects you. The kind of um, um, workers they have affect you. Everything they do affect you directly. If they are failing, you are failing. That is why if you check big manufacturing companies, they don't joke with their distributors. They have systems in place to reward them when they meet certain targets because they are in this with them together. So um all the factors we've spoken about now constitute the micro external environment. Remember, I have said these are factors outside of the business, yet they affect the day to day running of the business. Then we come to the macro environment. And for them, we use the acronym PEST to um, discuss them. Elements of the external environment, the macro. We use PEST to analyze them. PEST, P for political, E for economic, S for social, and T for technical. So when we are discussing the political um, environment, we add legal to it. So it's the political stroke legal environment, right? The political environment gives birth to the legal environment. In other words, whatever comes out of the political system is legally binding on all businesses. So decisions that come out of the political system, the government of the day, is legal and it has to be followed to the latter. So, for your simple social studies knowledge, or if you did government, the political system, as far as we are concerned, we have three arms of government: legislative, executive, the judiciary. So the legislature is responsible for making of laws, and that is parliament. And then we have the executive arm of government that is responsible for implementation of laws. The executive, in other words, is the president and his um, ministers, his cabinet ministers. So if you check the way our political system is arranged, parliament is parliament, so legislature. But when you go to the executive arm of government, we have the president and we have his ministers. Every minister heads a ministry. Every minister heads a ministry. And when you go to every ministry, there are people who work in the ministry. There are so many of them, headed by the chief director. And it trickles down to the least person. I don't know whether the least person there is a security man or a messenger, but you have people working in various capacity um, as a part of a ministry, ministries, departments, and agencies. That's how we call them. And so every decision that is taken, um, every law that is taken at the legislature is implemented by the executive. So, um, if it's Ministry of Finance, apart from the finance ministry, there are departments, agencies under the Ministry of Finance. So, if Parliament comes out with a law that I just use VAT, so let me continue with VAT, that we are charging 20% VAT. Ghana Revenue Authority comes directly under Ministry of Finance. They are going to ensure that all businesses that are eligible to charge VAT do so. They give them VAT invoices, VAT receipts to give out to customers. And they receive all these VAT collections. So let's say I have a like Melcom, one Melcom outlet. Melcom charges VAT. So all the monies that are charged on VAT, you see, when you buy items, you collect your receipt, you see that there's a percentage there that you are paying as far as VAT is concerned. That Melcom outlet will collect all the monies and submit them, pay them to Revenue Authority. So that is the executive arm of government putting the laws that have been made into action. So that is why we say it is responsible for implementation of laws. The judiciary enforces the laws. So the courts and the security systems and all those things, they enforce the laws. So if you don't pay your VAT, the police will come and arrest you. Or if you don't collect VAT, the police will come and arrest you. That is part of the judiciary. Okay, so basically, without going into detail, this is how the political system works. So what am I saying? Every law that emanates from the political system legally binds all businesses to do what the law says it should do. If you fail to do it, the political system, through any arm of government that is responsible for what is supposed to be done, will ensure that you follow everything the law says to the letter. And so decisions from the political system affect businesses. So with the VAT example I'm still using, if I sell products at 10 cedis and I am required to charge a 20% VAT on the products and collect them for government, it means that from now onwards, I have to sell the product at 12 cedis and give the 2 cedis to government as VAT. It's as simple as that. So you see, government took its decision and it has affected the pricing of my products. So the political and the legal system, though does not affect your day-to-day running directly like the micro, it still affects you at the end of the day. And you cannot dictate what the political system or the legal system should be, yet it will affect you. It also has to do with our contract laws, our taxes, regulations about our businesses, and so on and so forth. They all are part of the system as far as the political and legal environment is concerned. You don't have control, yet they affect you. If you fail to comply, you know what's going to happen. So that is the political environment for you. Then we go to the so I was talking about the political environment. Um, then we go to the economic environment. Economic environment. So interestingly, the political environment um, also has some connections with the economic environment as well, because um, some of the political decisions translate into legal decisions that are economic. So the example I've been given, that even though it's a political and legal decision, it's still economic because it has to do with um, money. That is why you see legislation as part of the economic um, um, impact on businesses. So economic laws, trade unions. I was talking about minimum wage. The trade unions have gone to bargain for a minimum wage. You necessarily have to pay, so it affects your business. Trade associations. If trade associations are on strike, your internal affairs could be peaceful, yet the people belong to trade unions, and so they have to also comply. Um, when it comes to the the rates banks charge as far as their um, interest rates are concerned, which is as a result of government decision on fiscal policy. So government fiscal policy will affect how banks charge their interest rates. So when the policy decision goes up, then interest rates on loans will go up and vice versa. Currently, we are a lot of people have been crying that the policy rate has come down, yet interest rates at banks are still where they are. It is very expensive to borrow in Ghana. And all these things are economic factors that affect your business. What about the world markets, the world money markets, CD to dollar ratios, and so on and so forth? How the CD or your local currency is faring to the country's business partners. So the euro, the pound, now we trade a lot with China, so the Chinese currency, my friend says it the yen, or that is for Japan, whatever. The rand, South African rand, we trade with it a lot now. So that's all these, all these, and then trading blocks, European Union, um, the Asian markets, now China and its allies, and so on and so forth. So you realize that all these factors are economic and they have impact on your business. They have impact on your business a lot. All right. Still with the economic environment, the type of economy that exists in your country, and then the type of economy that exists in other countries that you trade with also have consequences on your business. So we'll talk about the type of economics very soon. And then inflation and deflation matter. If you're a Ghanaian, inflation should be something that has been ringing in your mind every day. Every day, inflation this, inflation that, inflation this. Inflation simply means how the prices of products are rising or falling. So let's say last year by this time, if you had 10 cedis, you could buy 10 pieces of a particular product, or it could buy you a certain item. 1 year down the line, that same 10 cedis can only buy you 8 of those products. It means that year on year inflation has increased by 20%. That is how inflation is measured. How much money is chasing after products. The higher the inflation, the less of the value of your money you get. So if inflation is rising very high, it means that for every product you buy, the next time you are going to buy that same product or the same quantity of that product, you will need more money to be able to buy that. That affects businesses, especially your capital, because the quantity of inputs you need and the amount of money you need will not commensurate. You need more money to be able to acquire the same amount of input you need in your production. And so inflation affects businesses a lot. And it's not every day that we have inflation. Sometimes there is deflation as well. Sometimes prices of commodities, products fall, but maybe not so popular in our part of the world. Then I've talked about economic policies, the fiscal policies, and all that. So exchange rates and interest rates, I've talked about all of them. All these have effect on your business, yet they are not within your reach, so you cannot control them. And then we have what we call the social cultural um, effects, so, social-cultural effect. So we are talking about society. Society is made up of people, and people have their way of life. That is why culture comes in. So this is who we are, and it expands from the ethnicity of people through to their age structure, to the structure of our population, um, our language, the class status, religion, language, yeah, linguistic base, racial diversity, and all those things, they affect your business. If you look at Ghana's population, it is the kind of population that is described as youthful. Youthful, meaning there are younger people residing in Ghana more than adults. So if you check Ghana's population structure, it's like a pyramid. So as it goes, the base is big, and as it goes up, it becomes smaller, meaning we have few adults or few aged people, and we have many young people. This population dynamics affect the kind of business that people engage in. It affects it a lot. When you go to other jurisdictions, it's the other way around. You have so many people being aged, and then you have few people being young. Like the Scandinavian countries, I think Germany has the same issue. Some of these countries are even underpopulated. So for them, their dynamics as far as sociocultural, environmental factors are different from us because of the way we are. Social status and class system. How many people are within the lower class? How many people are in the middle class? And how many people are in the upper class? If people are in the upper class, it means that they have disposable income. And so, based on their preferences, if your businesses fall within their preferences, because they have disposable income, they will patronize a lot of those things. So people who are within the upper class can buy cars, brand new cars. So if you have a larger population of your people being in upper class, it means there are certain products that will move. Then you come to the middle class. We are talking about people, the working class, those who are working in banks, corporate organizations, lecturers, and so on and so forth. People who live above the poverty line. If there are many, some businesses do well. Private, basic education institutions, because these are the people who are looking for good schools for their children. And so such businesses will thrive. These are the people who buy suits and heels and all those things for work. And so if there are many in the system, these are people who are building. And so the construction industry can also do well. Or the um the estate real estate business can boom if you have so many people in the middle class. If you have so many of the population in the lower class, these are people who are below the poverty line. For those people, it's about survival. And so you are talking about things that pertain to everyday need, what they will eat. Sometimes what they will wear cry is not their problem. What they will eat and how they will survive. So people in menial jobs, all these characteristics affect businesses. And you should know where you are situated, the kind of community you find yourself, and how these factors operate in there. They are very, 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 very important. It is for a reason that you will find the same, um, you find two different businesses who are doing the same thing. One is situated at um, East Legon, and the other is at I don't want to know. And they are charging completely different rates as far as their services is concerned. Like a salon that is situated at East Legon. Expect the kind of client base. The same salon that is found at Christian Village, the client base. So you will realize that these factors we are talking about affect the operations of businesses, and you should know as a business. Religious beliefs, believe it or not, people's religious beliefs affect their lifestyle and their choices. Linguistic base, yes, the type of language um, that people have. It is a race or an ethnic group that has a language. And so when it's about language, then it's about ethnicity as well. And then how these are diverse. How these are diverse. You can have one country and they have one ethnic group, one language, no problem. Come to our small Ghana. And small as we are, officially we have over 42 languages that have been documented. And we have still some that have not been documented. So even if we want to work with just the 42, look at small Ghana. 42 different languages, meaning different ethnic groups. with different beliefs, with different styles, with different food, with different preferences, culture, everything is different. So where you find yourself determines what will work and what will not work as far as your business is concerned. And then in all this comes today's society where even so-called villages have now become cosmopolitan thanks to social media, thanks to the internet. Now societies have changed so much. Go to your Gone are the days when you could deceive people with I remember when I was young, um some of my father's family members who lived in villages who came to live with us. Myself and my brothers, we could deceive them that somebody had to enter the TV and speak, and they believed us. We told them that they see the people talking on the TV. We had to put somebody in the TV before the person is able to speak, and they believed us. And we promised them that if they are good to us, we'll go and put them inside so that they will come on TV and people will see them. And they believed us. Today, try that nonsense on a small boy at the village, and you see your smoothness level. Why? Societies have advanced, and it comes with its evils. It comes with its evils. And we need to understand all this and appreciate the fact that all these come with opportunities and threats. And in all this, businesses are at the center of it. And this should inform what businesses should do. What I'm saying is that all these factors affect your business, whether you like it or you don't like it. So I've mentioned the structure of our population, whether we have aging people or not. And then there are also these factors that are now part of our sociocultural um, environment, diversity, multicultural systems. You see, we have families that mother is working, father is working. So the streams of income coming into the family is good, multiple. Sometimes mother is working full time, has a side gig. Father is also working full time and has a side gig. If you operate in a community where you have these kinds of families um, in their numbers there, it affects their ability to really buy products or access services. And then we have the other one that is also becoming very popular, single parent families. Single parent families are also becoming very popular today. One parent is absent, whether the person is going to eternity or the person just worked out and refused to be responsible for the family. If you have such families dominating the environment you find yourself, it also has repercussions. Such families will not be looking at buying of toys. They will be looking at livelihood, simple livelihood things. And so if you find yourself operating in such communities, it affects what you can do and what you cannot do. And all these dynamics are real, are real. They are real. They are the things we are dealing with today as people in communities and societies. And if you are a business person, you should be mindful of all these things so that you don't find yourself um, operating without being informed. Else, you will close down. And then we have technology, one of the fastest growing factors that affect businesses. It is so fast, it changes so fast, so fast. And they make businesses operate easy. I told you that if you are a business, you have the opportunity to decide on processes that you want to go through. So how do you want to serve your clients or your customers? Are you going to use technology to make it faster, cleaner, and all that? Or you don't want to? That is your decision. If you choose to adopt technology, this is also one area that you need to be very mindful of. Why? Because this same technology changes so rapidly that when you think that you are mastering one, the next one comes. Those of you who like Apple phones, I think you can attest to this. One moment you think you have the latest tech as far as phones are concerned. The next moment, another one has come. You have not even finished mastering all the apps on your phone. Then another one comes. Huawei is all over the place doing what God knows what. Even techno. These days, the kind of phones that techno is bringing out is mind blowing. And then we have the tech companies that are into so many things. These days, the number of apps that keep coming every day is amazing. It's amazing. So you adopt one today, and the next moment one comes and is better. So you need to decide on what to invest in and how that will help your business. And I must say that unfortunately, you don't even have a choice not to adapt technology. Technology affects your organization so much. The internet you use, e-commerce, electronic um, commerce, the service providers, how you respond to your customers, the way you are able to manage data that flows into your organization. They're all very, very, very important. Um, some businesses, when they take your data, the next moment is all over the place. And if you do that, nobody will patronize you. Nobody will patronize you. And then we have the demographics, um, which is also closely linked to the socioeconomic factors, the kind of population we have, literacy rates, whether or not people know how to read and write. A few years ago, how long has that been? Um, yeah, I'm talking about between 2006 and 2008. I lived in Accra, a certain place. I was pursuing my master's, so I was in an accommodation that was close to Legon. And there was this hairdresser that I patronized, and it was simply for convenience. Where she was, it was always easy for me to go to her shop and have my hair done. So I sent the a perming kit. Then I permed my hair. Not anymore though. I had perm. So I was going to perm my hair. And if I were not observant or if I didn't know how to read, I don't know what would have happened to my hair. It was that kind of perm kit that you needed to add exhibit B to A, C to A, and then use exhibit D to base your hair. Those kind of complex kits. And this lady took scissors. What was supposed to be used to wash the hair afterwards, she was adding it to the the cake, the cream. And I saw it on time and I asked her, I think her name was Monica or something. I asked her and she asked me, oh, and yes, I know. So I asked myself, so what has this lady been doing all this while? And the problem is she cannot read. She cannot read. So I've been saying that um, if you have a population where illiteracy is low, that alone ensures that people will live long. People will live long. And illiteracy affects her attitude from the way we manage our environment. Even though I must admit that some people are literate, yet they are stupid. Pardon my language. But illiteracy is a disease that is almost impossible to cure, unless, of course, the person it has just one cure: literacy. That's all. That's all. So the kind of education that people have, and I'm not talking about just being able to read and write, but the traditional education that um, people are given because they are raised in societies who are conscious of themselves. And it's very, very, very important. What I'm trying to say is that if you have a population that is highly educated, the dynamics as far as businesses are concerned is different. Birth rate, death rate. That combination, if you have more people dying than more people are being given birth to, that affects the population of a country and its dynamics, and it affects businesses as well. If 100 women are pregnant and only 40 of them are going to have their babies um, whole and healthy, it affects businesses who are into um, children's products. Age classes, I've mentioned them. If you have more adults, it has its own dynamics. If you have more children, it has its own dynamics. Standard of living. If the standard of living is high, businesses are booming. If standard of living is low, people are hardly making it. So all this affects your businesses. So I've talked about the environment already. Okay, so now you know what the business environment is. You know that it's two types. Look, internal and external. And you also know that the external, we have the micro and the macro. You know the factors that make up the internal environment, the factors that make up the external micro, and the factors that make up the external macro. And for all these, I'm talking about the external. As for the internal, it is within the organization. So wherever the organization finds itself, that one is internal. But for the external, it can be the local external, national external, or global external. What it means is that you can have one business and its external environment, both macro and micro, are just within a particular region because of what they produce and how they operate. You can also have one particular business entity and it is national in nature. So their environment is the whole of Ghana. I mentioned Unilever is the whole of Ghana and beyond. And the same Unilever is global. Its environment is global. So you have some organization, even the people who work in that organization come from every part of the world. Their products go beyond the country. So for such an organization, its environment is global. So its environment is both local, it's both national, and it's global. So depending on what the organization does and what it is, its external environment can be local, it can be national, and it can be global as well. So note that. Note that. All right. So I mentioned the fact that um, there are some economic systems that affect the way businesses operate in a country. and we saw them, but let's talk about them um, into detail. So we have what we call a communist state, communist state, and then we have countries. Okay, so if we talk about a communist state, we are talking about a country that practices communism. And then we have those countries that practice socialism. And then we have those that practice the capitalism, or um, in between the capitalism and the socialism, you can have a mixed economy, a country that has a little of socialism and a little of capitalism. Okay, so a country that practices communism has an economy that is highly controlled. So everything in that country, as far as the economic factor, everything is controlled, is determined by the government of the day. And usually we say China has a communist state. I think um, Cuba is a socialist state. So for a country that practice communism, everything is controlled. So individual companies and organizations do not have the right to dictate anything. Everything is determined by the government. A socialist state is also determined. Everything there is determined by the state. Just that there is a difference between a communist state and a socialist state. You see, for a communist state, everything is controlled and determined by the state. Yet there is class. We can identify the rich and the poor. So you can have the elite who rule and the common people who follow the flow. Everything is determined by the elite who rule. Even though elitism is also there, which is a bit different, but in a communist state, those who rule determine what happens, and that is it. It's a highly controlled economy. You can read on that. A socialist state, a nation that practices socialism, um, the system is such that it offers what we call a classless economy, meaning whether you are a doctor like myself, or you are a cleaner like the cleaner I have here, we don't have that class. The state provides all of us with state accommodation. And so I have a place to live provided by the state. You also have a place to live provided by the state. It's like we all work together and contribute to the national purse, and the national purse distributes the wealth of the state to the citizens equally. Equally. So the state provides everything for the citizens in a classless manner. So that is socialism. And then we have capitalism, where the in the economy things happen in such a way. Once the individual has um, money to open a business, that is it. Private owned businesses and profit making businesses. So it is not communism, it is not socialism, but I have my money, I have opened my company and I'm working. I have employed people and they are working for me. When I make my profit, it's legit business. So I can buy whatever cars I want to buy. It is legit business I'm doing. It is none of your business. It is not up to the state to say that we are all equal, so we are all. You can't build your house. The state is building houses for everyone. So that is capitalism as opposed to socialism. In between, there is a mixed economy where the state provides some social services to the people, and at the same time, individuals have the opportunity to make their own, to create their own businesses and make profit for themselves. And if you check critically, you realize that Ghana is a mixed economy because people own private businesses. At the same time, there are some policies by government that offers a classless advantage to everyone. All you need is to be a citizen of Ghana. So we have National Health Insurance Scheme, we have school feeding programs, we have free SHS, free maternal care. There are so many social services that are provided by the state to all citizens, whether you are rich or you are poor. Everybody can go to SHS for free. It's a social policy that is offered by the government to citizens. At the same time, there is opportunity for people to open up their own businesses, do legitimate work, and make profit for themselves. So these are communism. I've mentioned all that. So a mixed economy is between socialism and capitalism. So you can have capitalism being more than socialism, small, or the other way around. But it's a blend of the two. Okay. So then there's what you call market structures. Market structures. So um in in the mixed economy where businesses can operate, you can have some structures being present. You can have what we call a monopolistic system or monopoly, and then you can have pure competition. Monopoly is where one business is offering um, a service or a product, and many people are after that product or service. So a typical example is um, I think it's ECG or water company. It's a monopoly, one seller, many buyers. And then you can have something called monopolistic competition. And then you can have a pure competition. So for monopoly, one company sets the price and offers the service. Example is ECG. So whatever ECG gives you, there are not alternate utility companies for you to choose. It's just like WAEC. WAEC is a monopoly. You don't have any other examination body. So they set their prices and they offer the service. You complain, complain, complain. When you are tired, then you stop. And then we have what we call the oligopoly. Oligopoly. Few sellers of different product or service. Few sellers of different product or service. So an example is automobiles. So you have um automobile producing companies. Mm. They are few sellers. They are few sellers. I mean, you can name the brand of cars at a certain. You can name them. So they are not many. But they are also not selling the same product, even though it's cars. But BM is BM, Benz is Benz, Toyota is Toyota. So all the companies that produce the cars, they are few and they are selling different products. The example with tobacco, they know I'm not interested in tobacco. And then we have monopolistic competition. This one, you have many sellers. Mm, you have many sellers. They are selling the same thing, but with perceived differences. An example is tertiary institutions. You have several universities. All universities are giving out one particular service, tertiary education. But there are perceived differences. Perceived differences. And because of that, people have people make decisions to go to one tertiary institution or the other. And the perceived differences can be the actual programs that they have to offer. So people will say, if you want this, go here. If you want this, go here. An example is fast food. Some people will move from wherever they are and go to a particular food joint because of some perceived difference that exists between that food and every other food joint that produces that particular kind of food. So people will go anywhere looking for papaya. Meanwhile, there are so many fast food joints around them. Why? They have a perceived taste that papaya offers. KFC. KFC. People will bypass restaurants and go to KFC. Why? Because there's a perceived taste as far as KFC chicken is concerned. And that is called monopolistic competition. And then we have the perfect competition, which is the free market, where there are many buyers and there are many sellers. So people have the choice to crisscross all over the place to buy whatever they want from whoever seller they want. And the demand and supply come to interplay here because it's a free market. I'm free to patronize whoever seller I choose to patronize because it's a perfect competition and many sellers are there to, as much as there are many buyers as well. So there are some limitations to the free market system. People have complained that because there's free market, a lot of the time people bring in inferior goods at cheaper prices. And at the end of the day, these inferior goods have consequences on the environment. That is one of the things that people feel is a disadvantage in a free market. Also, the issue of inequality of wealth, because people are able to buy and sell whatever they want and it's free, they are free to do so. People are able to accumulate wealth and it also has its own consequences. And the fact that there's limitations push that these limitations push countries towards socialism. So sometimes because of these factors, governments are forced to regulate the free market system and it sends us back to socialism. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we have done today is to talk about the business environment of um, business entities. So, remember, every business has two types of environment, the internal and the external business environment. And these environments, the internal has factors that are within the environment. The business itself. And for these factors, that business or the company has control over them. And then there is the external environment, which is also made up of the micro and the macro. The micro has factors that directly affect the day-to-day activities of the business, yet the business cannot control them. And then there is the larger external environment made up of political, economic, social, cultural, technological, environmental, and legal factors. All these also affect the business, and the business has no control over them. The only difference between the micro and the macro is that the macro affects the business on daily basis. The day-to-day activities of the business is closely linked to how well the micro environmental factors perform. And you need to understand that as a business, knowing this gives you the opportunity to strategize. Strategize. That is why the internal environmental factors include strategy. You strategize in such a way that you can position yourself to be able to adapt to the external environmental factors. Position yourself in such a way that you can take advantage of these factors. Remember, the internal factors have your strengths and your weaknesses. The external factors come with opportunities and threats. And you should position yourself in such a way that your strategies are strong enough for you to withstand any change that comes in the external environment of your business, whether it is the micro or the macro. Amen. Time for questions.
Wow. Thank you very much. That was awesome.
Mhm.
Uh, last week, we were so excited having you. Today is like another level. We are just learning new things every day. Yeah, we are really
Yeah,
grateful.
you're
Yes.
welcome.
So, please, the last time you mentioned that we should look for the difference between stakeholders and then shareholders.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but is there a difference between a stakeholder and a stockholder?
So you are bringing that question to me that I should answer.
Okay, I personally have submitted mine already. So
Okay, so
yeah.
I'm yet to receive them. I'll come for face to face and take them.
Oh,
So
okay,
I'll
okay.
come to face. So
Some
I've
of
said
us
you should.
have submitted through the
That's good.
email. Yes.
I've seen some emails.
Yeah.
I said you should submit them hard copy. So even if you have submitted email, just go ahead and give the hard copy to your course rep. I have a reason for requesting for hard copy, so do that.
Oh, okay, okay,
Mm.
okay, okay. Meaning when we are meeting next weekend, we should come along with the hard copies.
Whenever you see your course rep, give it to him or her. I'll let you know when I'm coming for face to face.
I'm the course rep, please.
Are you? Hey, sorry, I didn't check who was speaking. So collect them.
All right, please.
Collect
I'll do
them.
that.
Collect them. Yeah, collect each one of them.
Okay.
I have my reasons for asking for hard copy.
Okay. Please, when it comes to monopolistic competition,
Mm-hmm.
we have fast food, we have colleges and tertiary institutions. Can we also bring churches in? like religious organizations. Yeah, some people go to some churches based on certain preferences. Let's say, oh, this man of God is so powerful. When you go, your problem will be solved. Okay, this man of God is good at teaching. I like teaching.
Yeah.
How? Yeah.
It is true, but because prophets are not, sorry, churches are not for profit, we
Okay.
don't classify them as businesses. That is
Okay.
why we don't use that example.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Even though um some schools are not necessarily for profit, yet they fit into the example very well.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because I know some churches where, let's say, they send some a man of God to go and establish a church. They give the man of God a certain amount of money. Within 2 years, he comes back and say, okay, the church is not doing well over there. Then they'll say, okay, come and remain with us. You are not going on with establishing any church anymore because you are not bringing profit to the to the church. Yes.
It's that discussion. It's okay. Let's leave it here
Okay.
because if we start, we aren't going anywhere. Trust me. Discussion of churches and what is happening these days.
Yeah.
People have really turned it into money making ventures, and it's
Yeah.
not funny. It's not
Yes, I'm
funny.
I'm a pastor. That is why I'm asking all these questions.
Okay.
Yes.
So um it's supposed you see it that is why churches are registered as philanthropic organizations.
Mm,
They are not supposed to be businesses.
yes.
They are philanthropic. And so
Yes.
whatever service they provide is unto God and country. Okay. So the issue of profit should not even come into the discussion at all. But
Oh,
unfortunately, that is not the order of the day. If that were to be the order of the day, we wouldn't have churches selling everything from shobolo to oil to whatever. Churches have no business doing that if indeed they are what they have been established to do. So,
yeah.
like I said, it's okay. Let's
Yeah.
leave it
Yeah. Because
here.
we have a lot when it comes to that area.
Who
Thank
is
you very
laughing?
much.
Who is laughing? Any other question? I'm done with the class. So if you have a question, you can ask. Other than that, we can call it a day.
And there's a statement you made. The only cure for illiteracy is literacy. That
Mm.
means we have to take our learning seriously. And you also concerning the environmental um I'm coming.
I think
Concerning the business environment as well.
mm-hmm,
Uh,
mm-hmm.
Let me say, as we as distant learners, we have found ourselves in GCTU, and
Mm-hmm.
then I believe that it's going to have a great impact on us after these 4 years. We will never be the same uh, way, like the way we used to be, the way people know us to be. Will never be like that. There's gonna be a transfer, a mental transformation. Yes, yes. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any question? Okay, if you don't have any question, then I also have a question for you. So, what have you learned today, Anthony Apau Baden? What have you learned today?
Where is he? Anthony.
Hello, madam. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, madam. I think I've learned something on the macro and the micro environment. And
Okay.
then also, I've also understood the system that helps a business to either thrive or even collapse based on the environment and the kind of system, the kind of system existing in a particular community or a region, depending. So I think so far so good. So far so good.
Okay. Okay. All right. Who else? Let me put it on record that um, class participation is one of the key things we're going to do, except that for the first few lectures, I want to deliver it in such a way that it forms the basis of your understanding. We will get to a stage where you will be able to discuss issues because now you are familiar with all the terms. You understand? So
Yes, madam.
I want you to understand the concepts in such a way that when they mention it, you don't have to go to your phone and Google to find out its meaning. You have understood it and it is part of um, your everyday thing as far as your studies is concerned. That way, if you have to use the terms to explain some things, it will come so easy for you. You get it?
Very well, madam.
Yeah. Okay. So who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Josephine. Josephine. Josephine, are you there?
Yes, madam.
Okay, tell me one thing you learned today.
Okay, madam, please. I learned about suppliers and then customers.
Okay. What have they done?
Okay, suppliers and customers help each other. Suppliers supplies the goods or the services, and then the customers go in for it. So I also
Okay.
learned that if
Mhm.
Yes.
the suppliers bring the goods without the customers, there's no way they are going to make their sale.
Okay. All right. So our time is up. I thank you all for coming and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank
Bye.